You're standing in the kitchen. Somebody's crying. Somebody else is yelling. The dog is involved for reasons nobody can really explain. And you're standing there with a cup of coffee that went cold an hour ago, thinking, how can we already be here? It's not even lunch. If this is your day in the summer or holidays or even the weekend, I want to tell you exactly why this keeps happening. Because once you understand, the fix is actually pretty simple. Not easy, but simple. And it's not what most parenting advice tells you to do. I'm Margot, psychologist, parent coach, and an ADHD mom who's raised 3 children, one with ADHD. Before I tell you what to do differently, I want you to understand why things fall apart. Because once you see the chain reaction that gets you there, you'll know exactly where to interrupt it. And most parents are trying to interrupt it in the wrong place. So here's what's actually happening on a typical day off in a house with an ADHD child. The day starts fine. Everyone slept in a little. There's no rush. You're loving the lack of pressure. The children get screens or Legos or whatever buys you 20 minutes quiet time with your cup of coffee. Nobody's fighting. You're thinking, see, this is what days off from school should feel like. And then somewhere between waking up and 11 a.m., 4 things happen at once, and nobody notices any of them until they've already snowballed. The first thing, nobody has really eaten. There was a granola bar maybe, a juice box, some goldfish off the counter, but no actual meal with protein in it. And ADHD kids and ADHD adults, they get overwhelmed when their blood sugar drops, and also cranky. The second thing, the kids have been on screens or doing the same activity for 2 or 3 hours. Their brains are overstimulated and depleted at the same time, which is a really unstable place to be. The transition out of that is going to be hard no matter what. The third thing, there's been no movement. Nobody's been outside. There's been 0 opportunities to discharge the energy that's been building up since they've woken up. And the fourth thing, and this is the one nobody talks about, you haven't had any structure either. You also slept in. You also haven't really eaten. You also haven't moved, which means your nervous system is already a little fragile by the time you need to make the first request. So by 11 a.m., you have a low blood sugar, undermoved, overstimulated child trying to interact with a low blood sugar, undermoved, overcaffeinated mom. And then somebody asks somebody else to do something. Or somebody wants a snack and there isn't one. Or somebody needs to get dressed because you actually do have to leave the house at noon. And the whole thing detonates. It looks like a behavior problem. It feels like a behavior problem, but it isn't really. It's a conditions problem. The conditions you set up between 8 and 11 a.m. quietly made an explosion inevitable. So now that you see the mechanism, you might be thinking, okay, fine. I just need more structure on off days. But I want to stop you right there, because that's an oversimplification that creates the next problem. And it's the one I see ADHD moms fall into over and over again. Here's the trap. On school days, your life has structure. Whether you love that structure or hate it, it exists. The bus comes at a time. School ends at a time. There are pickups, homework, dinner, bath, bed. Everything has a slot. By the time Saturday Christmas or summer rolls around, you are cooked. And if you have ADHD yourself, you are extra cooked, because ADHD brains run hot on structure all week, masking, managing, remembering, transitioning, and you hit Friday night and your nervous system says, no more plans. I want the weekend to be the opposite of the week. So you do nothing. No structure, no plan. Everyone just does what they want. And that feels amazing for about 2 hours. Then 11 a.m. hits and you watch your house fall apart. So what does the well-intentioned ADHD mom do? She panics. She gets loud. She starts barking orders. Get off the screen. Get dressed. Stop fighting with your brother. And now you've gone from zero structure to maximum structure in about 45 seconds, with no warning to the kids, no transition, no buy-in, and a mom whose own nervous system is already in the red. Your kids aren't being defiant in that moment. They are being ambushed. You spent the morning teaching them this was a no-plan day, and then you suddenly switched the rules without telling them. ADHD kids whose brains already struggle with transitions on a good day cannot pivot that fast, so they melt down. And you, who are also dysregulated, melt down right back at them. That's the cycle. And it doesn't get fixed by adding more structure. It gets fixed by adding the right structure in the right places with warnings. So before I give you the actual fix, I want to name something I think most weekend advice gets wrong. Most parenting content out there tells you to either run your weekend like a boot camp in the military, or it says to let the children completely free range. Let them decompress. Both of those are going to fail in an ADHD house. What you actually need is a much smaller intervention, and most of it has to do with activities. I call it the bare minimum routine. The bare minimum routine has just 3 anchors I want you to keep on a day off, no matter how unstructured the rest of the day is. Just 3. Everything else can be loose. The first anchor is meals. Not perfect meals, just predictable meals with actual protein, roughly when you'd normally have them. Breakfast within an hour of waking up. A real snack around 10. Lunch around 12 or 12:30. If you do nothing else from this video, do this, because hangry is a real thing. Almost every 11 a.m. meltdown I just described is happening on top of low blood sugar in at least one person in the house, usually 2. Now the second anchor is 1 movement window before 11. It doesn't have to be elaborate. It doesn't have to be exercise. It can be the backyard trampoline, a walk to the mailbox, riding a scooter to the corner. What you're doing is letting your child's body discharge some of the energy that has been building since they opened their eyes. ADHD bodies need this. So do ADHD mom bodies, by the way. If you can do this one with them, you get the double benefit. The third anchor is a transition warning, or 2 or 3, every single time the day shifts. This is the one nobody does, and it's the one that prevents the most fights. ADHD brains do not handle surprise transitions. So if your child has been doing a thing for 2 hours and you need them to stop doing that thing, you cannot just walk in and announce it. You need to give a heads up. 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 2 minutes, then the transition. That's it. Meals, movement, and warnings. Or almost that's it. Because there's a fourth anchor I haven't told you about yet. And I left it for last on purpose because it's the one this whole thing quietly runs on. Without it, the other three fall apart by the second weekend. I'll come back to it, I promise, but I want you to have the first three in your hands first. So here's how I'd hold on to them. I took these three anchors and turned them into simple routines. It's one page, it's free, and the link's in the description if you want it. Or you can create your own. First, notice what's not on that page. No strict schedule, no scheduled activities. You're not running a summer camp out of your living room. The rest of the day can be loose, slow, include some screens, whatever you and your family actually want. 3 anchors hold the whole thing up. Everything else just flexes around them. But you need this 4th anchor. You can't run the 3 anchors for your children if your own day has 0 anchors. I have tried. It does not work. ADHD moms have a pattern on weekends that I want to say out loud because most of you have never had anyone say it to you. You spend Monday through Friday or the whole school year holding everyone else's structure together. You wake everyone up, you feed everyone, you manage the bag, the snack, the homework, the form, the appointment, the pickup. By the weekend or the school holidays, you have nothing left. And so on Saturday morning, your brain whispers, I'm going to take care of myself today. I'm going to rest. I'm not going to do any of the work today. I'm going to take a day off. But what often happens is you don't actually rest. You just stop managing. And those are 2 different things. Real rest would look like you sitting down with a breakfast with coffee for 15 minutes before the day starts. You moving your own body for a few minutes. You giving yourself a transition warning before the next demand starts. You doing for yourself the same 3 things you're doing for your kids. Because you are important too, and you are critical to the situation. The reason 11 a.m. falls apart isn't your children. They are doing what ADHD kids do when their conditions aren't right. The real reason 11 a.m. falls apart is that mom's conditions aren't right either, and there's nobody upstream of you setting them up. You have to do it yourself. So the next day you're heading into a day off and your brain is whispering, no plans, no structure. I'm just going to wing it. I want you to gently push back, not by planning the whole day, just by deciding ahead of time what your 3 anchors are going to be and what your bare minimum routine is. For them and for you. This isn't about turning your weekends into a military operation. It's about putting 3 small posts in the ground so that the rest of the day can be as loose and slow as you want it to be. The structure isn't the opposite of rest. For an ADHD family, the right structure is what makes rest possible. So if you want the actual routines, I put them both into a free 1-page guide that you can print and stick on the refrigerator. The link is in the description. Build it once, use it every non-school day, every snow day, every school break. That's the whole point. You're not failing. Your house just hasn't had the right scaffolding under it. And the scaffolding is small, smaller than you think.